Let's look at Unit 4, Section 8 and 9, Check Your Understanding. So a big part of this section was being able to write an equation to represent what we are looking at. So even though some of these problems don't ask for an equation, I am going to show you how to write the equation. It says a pair of sneakers was purchased for $120. Since they were purchased, their price has increased by 15%. What is the new price? So we are given the original price purchased. So this is our original amount. And then, since they were purchased, the price has increased, so we need to know that there is an increase. That means we are adding. What is the new price? So we're trying to find the new price. The new price is going to be my X. My original is what I know. Okay. We have 100%. That is where we are starting. And then we are adding 15% to that. So the total amount, the total increased price of the sneakers is 115%. But we know our original. So the equation usually says our original times the percent equals the new. So if we take our original price, 120, and we multiply that by 115%, that is equal to our X, what we are trying to find. Well, we can just actually simplify this, and we have 120 times 115 over 100 is equal to our X. So that means if we calculate that out, 138 equals to X. So if we answer the problem, it says the new price of the sneaker is $138. This next problem actually does want an equation. It says, in a video game, Claire scored 50% more points than Tyler. If C is the number of points that Claire scored, and T is the number of points Tyler scored, which equations are correct? And we're going to select all that are true. So Claire scored 50% more than Tyler. So Tyler is our original, the OG. So we've got Tyler. We don't know how much Tyler scored, but he was 100%. Then Claire was 50% more. So that is 50% of Tyler's. Or we could say 150% of Tyler's. So Claire could either equal T plus 50% of T, so we'll write that as 100, 50 over 100T, or 150 over 100T. Either of these are equations that would work for Claire. Now notice that they took my fractions and they divided them. So they found the number for them. If we go 50 divided by 100, that's 0.5T. So that means question C works. And then also question A works. There is actually one more question that works, and that would be E, because E is factored out. If you remember, if I have T plus 0.5T and I factor the T out from each spot, that becomes 1 plus 0.5, and then we can multiply T by that. So that's why E works the way it does. Okay, the student government snack shop sold 32 items. So we know that the original amount that was sold was 32 items. or the total amount. Let's write that that is the total. Then for each snack type, we want to find what percent of all the snacks were sold of each type. And it says, do not round your answer. So remember, to find the percent, it is equal to the part over the total or the whole times 100. So if we do this for each different snack type, for the fruit cup, there were 8 sold. So we would just go 8 over 32 times 100. And that should give us 25. So that means that would be 25%. For the veggie sticks, we get 6 over 32 times 100. And that gives us 18.75. So that means we have 18.75%. For the chips, they sold 14 chips. So we've got here 14 over the 32 times 100. And that ends up being 43.75%. And then the last one we have here is the water here. So we go 4 over 32 is, or times 100 is 12.5. So that means the water would be 12.5%. Okay, this is just using a very basic percentage, but it's important to know that a percent is the part over the whole, and then times 100 to get the decimals in the right spots. This question says, a bakery used 30% more sugar this month than last month. If the bakery used 156 kilograms of sugar last month, how much did it use this month? So last month, that's our OG, our original. And how much did it use this month? This is our new, and we don't know that, so that's going to be our X. 30% here is our percent that we are changing by. We have to think, is the change an increase or a decrease? It is an increase. So once again, the formula is the original times the percent equals our new. So we have to look at what we are increasing by. So we started at 100%, but then we are increasing by 30%. So that means we have 130% of the original. If we go 560 is our original, times 130%, that equals our new. So that means we use 728 kilograms of sugar. This month. Okay, this next problem says a certain type of car has room for 4 passengers. So here's our car. Amazing drawing there. And here's our people. 1, 2, 3, 4. So one car has room for 4 passengers. Write an equation relating the number of cars N to the number of passengers P. So this means that however many cars we have, if we had 1 car, we would have 4. If we had 2 cars, we would have 8 passengers, and so forth and so forth. If we had N cars, how many passengers would we have? That is our P. So every time we are multiplying the n by 4. So RP is equal to 4n. So if we wanted to figure out how many passengers could fit in 78 cars, we would just go 4 times 78. And that gives us 312 passengers. The other question, this is a little bit different. It says how many passengers or how many cars would we need for 78 passengers? We know our P is 78, but we need to figure out the N. So if we take 78 and divide it by 4, we get 19.5. But there's a problem. We can't have 0.5 cars. So in order to have enough cars to fit all 78 passengers, we would have to round it up. Because if we round down, we do not have enough cars. All right, so that one's pretty simple. It actually has nothing to do with percentages, but it does have something to do with equations. Remember, to undo multiplication, we are going to look at dividing. All right, this question says, match each diagram to the situation. The diagram can be used more than once. So it says, the amount of apples this year decreased by 15% compared to last year's amount. So if last year was 100%, we are decreasing by 15%. And we're subtracting the 15%. So that means diagram A, because we have 100%, and we're taking the 15% away. The next one, B. The amount of peas this year is 85% of last year's amount. So last year was our 100%. And if we have of, 85% of, guess what? That is also going to be diagram A, because this is 85% of. It's not saying more than or less than, it's saying of. So that means we have our 85%. Whoops, sorry. Okay, the next one here, C. The amount of cherries this year increased by 15%. So we had 100% here, and then we're increasing it by 15%. So that is diagram B. And then the last one, it says the amount of oranges this year is 115% of last year's amount. Well, we have this is 115% of the original, so that would also be diagram B. The word of just means multiply. Increase or decrease, we have to add first. So just make sure we understand that distinction.